Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Popby Realty Podcast. I am the co-host, Matt Aguirre. I'm a broker associate with Popby Realty. And today I'm joined again by the co-founder, CEO, one of the brains behind Popby Realty, Rome Gregorio. He's also our broker of record and pretty much the brainchild behind Popby Realty. Rome, thanks again for joining us.
Hey, good morning, Matt. Let's spend this time with you.
Yeah. So, man, it's gonna be a crazy week this week. I think it was like almost 60 degrees this morning whenever I walk around in the school bus, and then this weekend it's gonna be like freezing. I think there's like a 40% chance of snow.
Right, I know. Kids get excited when we talk about that, but here in Texas, nobody knows how to drive in it, so we kind of go into panic mode.
Yeah, we don't plan on going anywhere, with the crazies being out on the road this weekend. So we're just gonna stay in. But hey, guys, this week, we've touched on, why myself and one of our other agents, Cody, have left traditional brokerages, how Popby is a little bit different. We're going to dive in to one of the main things that makes Popby different and how it differs from a lot of traditional brokerages. Almost all traditional brokerages, really. So Rome, real quick about Rome. He was the VP of Mergers and Acquisitions for one of the big name brokerages. Do you want me to say the name?
You can if you want to.
So, yeah. So it was for Keller Williams. So one of the Keller Williams branches, one of the franchises in San Antonio. It's one of the biggest within the company. And he got to sit in rooms and hear other franchise owners talking about what's broken with traditional brokerages. But they were all just kind of handcuffed to Keller Williams, to their franchises, to the franchise models. And they wish they could change things, but they couldn't. And Rome was like, well, I can. So, and that's where, Popby came about. Rome had been working on it for a long time, but this is kind of the brainchild and what's driving Popby Realty. And that's going to be the collaboration between agents. So one of the things that Rome had discussed with me, and one of the things that really attracted to me was the collaboration. And we get that collaboration with the life circles. So Rome, go into a little bit about just kind of the background of that collaboration and what was lacking with traditional brokerages and how the life circles came about.
Sure. Thanks, Matt. One thing that comes to mind as you're talking about that is as an instructor, I'm an instructor at the Champion School of Real Estate, is that when my students come to class, they have this expectation to sit in rows and face forward and let the instructor teach. And that's okay. That's a traditional model. And that works when you're, entering a school for your qualifying education. And that's very necessary because there's usually a test at the end. And, you demonstrate your knowledge and your competency by passing that test. And that's fine. It works in that environment, in that educational atmosphere. It absolutely works. But here at Popby, now we're dealing with professionals who are licensed to practice real estate in Texas. We're dealing with the pros who check says you have the right to practice real estate under the guidelines of TRELA and operate as an independent contractor. You're a sole proprietor. You're an entrepreneur. You're a CEO of Me Incorporated. And as a CEO of Me Incorporated, you need something more than somebody talking at you. You need to be able to participate. And so what we say here is that circles are better than rows. Circles are better than rows because everybody's facing each other. You have the opportunity to contribute, bring your knowledge base, your background, your history, and add value to the culmination of everybody participating. And so we say three things. We say you need to participate, you need to incubate with us, and you need to cultivate. Those are ideas that are unfounded in traditional brokerages. A lot of times in what we would call team meetings, everybody would come, sit in rows, and whatever the brokerage at that time allocated for a sponsor, the sponsor would come and they would talk, and no matter what you needed, you might have needed something other than the message that was going to be delivered, but nonetheless, you're going to get the same message blanketly that everybody's going to get. Somebody tell me how growth happens in that model, because if I'm a commercial guy and you're a farm and ranch guy and there's a luxury lady, working in our spaces, and somebody comes in here and starts talking about interest rates, last time I checked, we can just look up interest rates. We can just we can information, right? But what we need is tactical advice. We need to work together with other like-minded professionals to sharpen our tools to rise above the conditions that everybody keeps talking about. We keep talking about the problems in real estate, but we don't cultivate a collaborative environment to where everybody comes and brings and adds value, so we can actually solve the world's problems together. I would rather work together with you to work to solve and to bring solutions, rather than this, stare at the next speaker that comes and talks about something that really isn't that relevant to what I'm experiencing. So many people around the country that I've personally witnessed, are quietly dying in team meetings. They're quietly dying. Nobody knows the desperation of their financial status. Listen, the National Association of Realtors put out recently that 71% of agents across the country did not sell a single home last year.
That's insane.
That's devastating, bro. What in the world? If all the work, time, energy, and resources that we put into getting licensed, getting a sponsoring broker, and getting out there and practicing real estate, right? We call this a practice, and trying to achieve some measure of success, and 71% of agents who are licensed across the country didn't sell a single home. Shame on us as brokers. What are we doing? Listen, I like going for the free tacos as much as anybody else, but if that's all you're going to offer me in a team meeting, then we're not solving anybody's problems. We've got people who are really hurting in the real estate space. We've got agents that are dying on the vine, getting second jobs, third jobs, doing whatever they need to sell assets just to weather this storm. And by the way, we really have no idea when the storm is going to end, right? We really don't understand or know. Nobody knows. We can listen to forecasts, we can have projections, but the reality is, we are reaching out. Popby Realty is reaching out to solve problems and create an environment where we can escalate the results. And if anything, it's mind matter. We're putting all of our minds together, and that matters, not the free lunch.
Right. Yeah, and it's not just like these newer agents within their first couple of years that are like, hey, I'm going to go in on real estate, that are having to get jobs. There are seasoned agents that we know. Absolutely. That have been agents. I mean, there's one that I know that we both know that's been an agent longer than I have, and I'm in my 10th year, and he had to go back to getting another job to just kind of supplement his income, just because it's been so slow. I mean, heck, I considered it. Before I joined Popby, I was considering just hanging up my license and either going to work for a title company, and I even considered going and selling cars, but that's what it was going to take, to make some money. But prayed about it, put it all on God, and just I gave that up. It was hard for me because I'm such a control freak sometimes, but I just leaned into it and got my broker's license, and and here we are. When I was praying for God to lead me where I'm supposed to be, this is where it led me. So, but I mean, my business was decent last year, so it was better than the year before, but it was still not great. It's not what it has been in the past. And so a lot of agents out there are hurting. And let's take that like 71%, and let's even give like 20% that might be investors or somebody that's just kind of holding on to their license and not really practicing. Then you've still got like 51%, more than half of agents that didn't do a single deal. So they're in the negative because they're having to pay fees either to their brokerage or to their MLS. And those aren't cheap. I mean, we pay over $1,000 a year, I believe, in MLS fees alone. So, I mean, would you go and, want to do a job to where you're having to pay $1,000 and you're bringing nothing in? Hey, look, come and do this, come and work with us. But you're not going to make any money at it. It's just going to cost you money. Nobody would want to do that. So that's what I loved about.
I'm sorry. Let me just say that's a wonderful point that you make, because when I say shame on us as brokers, as brokerages, you don't look at your agents as your income stream. Look at your agents as your colleague you're trying to lift up and help succeed. It's a godly principle to help others who have needs, and to meet the needs of those who can't help themselves. And when you just look at agency and brokerage as a business of circulating numbers, that really ticks me off, man, because the problem that I have is I have a heart for these people. These are friends, right. These are families, these are colleagues, these are people who are mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters. And when I said earlier that, people are quietly dying, they're dying in rows. They're dying because the only communication and contact they have with their brokerage or with their, let's just say, family of choice, where they go and hang their license, is the 1 hour a week that they offer a team meeting or training. And after that, there's no surprise that 71% of agents are dying, because they've been dying for a long time. We don't see them slowly not selling. It didn't just happen overnight. It happened over the course of time and time again. The solutions never came. The camaraderie never came. Like you said, the community, the collaboration never came. And I'll prove this point. If you look at these same agents, they make more statements to a blanket audience on social media than they do human contact, like you and I are having right now. There's more statements, there's more words being generated and pushed out to the social media abyss with no real care or comfort coming back. You might generate a few emojis, don't get me wrong, but there's no contact, there's no communication, there's no, hey, our office is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now I tend to want to sleep every once in a while, but as we scale this thing, there's going to be people who are just up late working and doing what it is they need to do, and by our design, you can more than likely find somebody up doing something as similar as well, and have that collaborative talk.
Yeah, I just had this happen last night. So, I've got my little side business. One of my other streams of income is, placing virtual assistants with business owners. And it's not just realtors, but I had a realtor that reached out to me last night through Facebook Messenger. And this is like at 11 p.m. I'm laying in bed and I hear my phone go, brr, brr. I'm like, what's that? And I look, and it's Facebook Messenger, and it's a message request from somebody. And it's like, hey, I saw your name and one of the Facebook groups about transaction coordinator or VAs or something. I can't really remember, but can we talk about that? And he sent me his number, and I just sent him a quick reply. And I was like, hey, I'll call you tomorrow, and sent him my phone number. He's like, oh man, thanks. I wasn't even expecting a reply tonight. I'm up late, still doing work, burning the candle at both ends. And that's what happens. That's for another show, talking about leverage and everything. But yeah, so what's kind of solving the problem of being in rows and dying on the vine and just going to the team meetings for the lunch and not really getting anything back is the life circles that Popby Realty offers. And what the life circle is, it's a small group. Let's call it a small group. Let's call it, a small team, a collaboration of agents that are like-minded or have the same niche, that can get together and collaborate. So like I've been primarily, like I said, I'm in my 10th year of real estate. I've been primarily a buyer's agent my entire career. I've done listings. I do listings all the time, but most of my business comes from buyers. So that's something that I lead, is a buyer's agent life circle. And if you want to be a buyer's agent, that's something you really enjoy, then what we do is you can join that life circle. We'll meet every single week. There's a certain time and day, and you just jump in on that call here in Popby land, and we talk about buying, working with buyers, being a buyer's agent. And we can talk about, hey, what's working for you? What are you doing right now that you shouldn't be doing? What do you need to be doing? And then also holding each other accountable, because if you're going to come in and you're kind of going to come into that group and say, hey, I'm hurting, this is, I need to find more business. Okay, great. Here's some steps that's helped me. It might be YouTube or somebody else that's going to be within that life circle. I'm like, hey, this is what I do. And help those other agents and help each other by sharing our experiences, sharing, everything that we've done to make ourselves, have a successful business as buyer's agents. And then, like I said, keep each other accountable. So you're not going out and you're not, listening to somebody talk about why an inspection is important, because we can talk about that in the life circle, but you're not getting that at the team meeting. We'll have a team meeting talking about, team stuff, talking about Popby Realty. But what we're going to do in the life circles is you're going to get the training and the knowledge and everything that you need for your business.
Right.
You're not getting some other training. You're not hearing something, that you don't really need that week, and you're only getting it maybe once a week, and you're walking in and you're like, oh my gosh, we're going to talk about whatever it's going to be, something that you don't need, right? It's not training for the masses. It's training for your business, and, you're going to get what you need for your business.
That's wonderful, Matt. When you and I were talking about this in the beginning, what just comes to mind is, you're such a wonderful communicator. You're like one of the best communicators, around, and being able to leverage and utilize your expertise and being able to culminate that in groups and facilitate that, that just adds value to what we do. And that's where I think a lot of agents miss it. They no longer feel like there's any value in what they're doing. They don't have a voice. They've never been asked a question. They've never been asked to participate. They've never been asked to say, hey, what do you think about this? We don't want to stand here and tell you, hey, every time you come to a life circle gathering, we're going to give you expert advice. We're going to tell you that we want expert participation. We want you to be part of that expert. And in that context, everybody elevates, everybody grows in that. Nobody's left with this underutilization process of go sit in another training room and let them tell you what they had planned to. And listen, I've been part of the leadership of a number of organizations. What happens, honestly, a lot of times is they get together before the meeting and say, okay, what are we going to talk about today? Or, hey, let's outline the next 4 weeks of what we want to talk about. Never mind if the market shifts or changes or AI has something that's more relevant. It's just, this was on the agenda. This is what you're going to get, like it or not. It's just part of the franchise way. And, trust me, I as a former international franchisor, I get it. Systems are wonderful. But when the systems within a franchise becomes the limitations that keep your agents from selling, 71% did not sell any real estate. The largest, combined organizations are franchises. We're not innovating.
Yeah.
We're not doing that, and that's why we're fighting so hard to be this non-traditional model that brings value back to agents, just brings the conversation, back into where it needs to be, which is within the content of a circle of people who are trying to get it done. I mean, there's no doubt there's people out there hurting. And one of the other things that I had a conversation with another agent earlier this week is, hey man, I said, if you're struggling, come to our life circle and give me a chance to encourage you. Give me a chance to say something positive. Give me a chance to help pull you out of the lull in this funky place where we're all sitting, slowly, quietly dying, right? And so that's what we do, as the scripture says, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another, and that's, give us a chance to do that.
Absolutely. So look, if you're listening to this and you're an agent that you feel something's missing, in your brokerage, where you're currently at, and this resonated with you, reach out to us. You can go to joinpopby.com. You can get a hold of us that way. We are more than happy to have a conversation with you to see if it's going to be a good fit, because maybe it's not a good fit for everybody, but it's going to be a good fit for a lot. And it's something that people need, and that they're hungry for, that they're starving for. And so, yeah, go to joinpopbyrealty.com. Be happy to have a conversation with you and give you an invitation to come into Popby land, where we're recording this in our Popby studio right now, in our virtual world of Popby land. But yeah,
cool.
More than happy. And as of right now, this recording, we are looking for agents in Texas only. We are only licensed in Texas at the moment, but in the future, it will be going, nationwide and international. So.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Matt, this is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Facilitating this. I always love our conversations.
Yeah, same here. Thanks again, Rome. I appreciate it. And guys, yeah, reach out to us at joinpopby.com, and we'll see y'all in the next video or the next podcast, however you're listening to this. Thank you.
Like our YouTube channel. That'd be good too. Yeah.
Yeah. Go to our YouTube.
All right.